Moving on, regular Israel critic Amnesty International now taking its claims to another degree. The NGO arguing that convicted Palestinian terrorist Ahmad Manasra is a victim of Israeli apartheid and torture and therefore should be released. The then 13-year-old Manasra was arrested and convicted in 2015 for going on a stabbing rampage with his cousin through the streets of Pisgat Ze'ev. Joining us to discuss this is senior researcher with NGO Monitor, Shaun Sacks. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Vital.
So first, can you break down what Amnesty is talking about?
Well, Amnesty International is talking about a 2015 incident during what Israelis call the stabbing intifada, where a number of Palestinians would rampage through Israeli cities stabbing civilians. In October of 2015, the same Ahmad Manasra and his cousin stabbed a number of people in Pisgat Ze'ev. There's a lot of video evidence about this. His cousin was eventually stopped and shot by Israeli police, and Ahmad himself was neutralized and then hospitalized in Israel and eventually convicted in court of participation in stabbings. That one of his victims was a young 13-year-old boy who to this day still has disabilities. Now 20 years old, the same Ahmad Manasra is being hailed as a victim of Israeli apartheid by Amnesty International.
And Amnesty says Manasra was arrested in relation to the stabbing, despite the Supreme Court ruling that he was an active participant.
Right. According to Amnesty International, they're actually saying that the most important thing here is that the stabbings took place in Pisgat Ze'ev, which according to Amnesty International is an illegal settlement in occupied East Jerusalem. And they also claim that Manasra was found guilty even though he didn't participate in the stabbings. Now, not only did he participate, he acknowledged this, he admitted that he stabbed people, he's seen on video stabbing people, and he was found guilty of participating in stabbings. But Amnesty International obviously want to play up that Israel is a horrible, evil apartheid state. So all reality that doesn't fit their pre-notion of Israel is ignored. And here we have a young boy who stabbed Israelis is suddenly now a victim of Israel.
And what do you say to the argument that claims that Manasra was tortured by being yelled at and confined at times to solidarity?
I'm sure all of these things may have their own merits. The problem is what Amnesty International has said, and their conclusion is that rather than focus on the fact that Ahmad Manasra stabbed a number of people, tried to murder Israeli civilians, that should be the most important fact here. If there were others in circumstances, yes, those should be investigated. But by suddenly taking a Palestinian terrorist who tried to murder people and calling him out for the fact that he tried to murder people, he is now hailed as a victim and is being supported by an organization that unfortunately has lost all right to tell anybody else what to do.
And regardless of Manasra's apparent guilt and conviction, as a 13-year-old at the times of this attack, some may say that he can be reformed and that indeed it's easier to reform someone like him, as opposed to someone who is adult. What do you think about that?
Again, that argument can clearly be made, but Amnesty International is not arguing that. They're saying that he should be released because he is a victim of so-called Israeli apartheid. The fact that he tried to kill people, the fact that it can be reformed, the fact that he was convicted is irrelevant to Amnesty's anti-Israel agenda.
What should Israel do in cases like this one when time and again it's losing in the advocacy battle?
I don't think Israel is losing in this advocacy battle, especially against an organization like Amnesty International, which has completely lost its reputation. Just last week, an independent review commissioned by Amnesty International found that the organization itself is institutionally racist, that they have a culture of white supremacy. This is Amnesty International. Their own current general director has already accused Israel of murdering Yasser Arafat. Amnesty International themselves, when they erroneously claimed that Israel was an apartheid state, their initial report said that Israel apartheid started with the establishment of Israel in 1948. Amnesty International, I think, it's not about just saying that they should be ignored for their falsities. they should be ridiculed for the way they've completely twisted human rights language.
Yes, I hope Israel can do its best. Shaun Sacks, NGO Monitor, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, Lital.